Welcome back to Culture Code English. Take a deep breath, let your shoulders drop, and sit with me for a moment. Today, we are going to fix the single biggest barrier in your English journey. Let me ask you something very honestly. When you try to speak English, what happens inside your head? Do you think in your own language first? Do you translate every single word, check the grammar rules, and then try to say it out loud? And while you are doing all of this translation work, what happens? Your mind goes blank. You freeze. You pause for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. You feel nervous, slow, and embarrassed. And finally, you choose to stay silent. If this happens to you, listen to me carefully. You are not bad at English. Your memory is not weak. The problem is simple. Your brain is doing double work. Translation is like driving a car with the emergency brake on. Today, we are going to release that brake. I am going to teach you 7 simple, powerful steps to stop translating and start thinking directly in English. Lesson 1. Stop searching for big words. Start naming your world. Most people fail to speak directly because they try to form complex ideas in their native language and then search for heavy English vocabulary. When you do this, your brain gets tired immediately. It feels like a computer running too many programs at the same time. Here is the simple rule to bypass translation. Connect English words directly to physical objects, not to your native language. When you see a cup, do not think of the word for cup in your language first. Look at the cup and say cup directly in your mind. Look at a table and say table. Look at the sky and say sky. Your brain learns through direct visual connection. The moment you connect an English word directly to a picture instead of a translation, your speech becomes twice as fast. Let me tell you about Alex. Alex studied English for 3 years, but he could never speak without long pauses. Every time he wanted to say something, he translated his mother tongue into English first. He felt frustrated and slow. Then Alex changed his habit. For 10 minutes every morning, he walked around his room and just named things out loud in English. Chair, window, phone, door, water. He did not translate, he just pointed and spoke. Within 3 weeks, his brain stopped asking for translations for daily objects. English words started popping into his head naturally because his brain linked the word to the object, not the translation. Lesson 2. The 3-word sentence diet. Why do you translate? Because you try to build long, complicated sentences right away. You try to speak like a textbook, but your brain cannot handle that speed. Your working memory gets overloaded and it falls back into translation to feel safe. Here is the golden rule. Strip your thoughts down to 3 words. Subject, verb, object. I want water. She works hard. This is good. I feel tired. When you limit yourself to short, 3-word sentences, your brain does not have time to translate. It just outputs the thought instantly. Short sentences create speed. Speed creates confidence. And confidence eventually leads to natural fluency. Let me tell you about Sophia. Sophia always wanted to speak in long, beautiful sentences. But every time she tried, she got lost in grammar rules and translation loops. She felt like a failure, so she made a rule for herself. For 1 whole week, she would only speak in 3-word sentences. If someone asked her a question, she answered with 3 simple words. At first, it felt too simple, but something amazing happened. Because her sentences were short, she stopped translating. Words came out instantly. Her fear disappeared and people understood her perfectly. Later, she naturally added 1 more word, then 2, but she never went back to translating. Lesson 3. Use the gap filler technique to buy time. when native speakers think. They do not stay completely silent, they use filler words. But when you think, you stay silent because you are translating. That silence feels heavy and awkward, which makes you nervous. To stop translating under pressure, you must learn to use English filler words to buy time for your brain. Instead of pausing in silence to translate, use words like, well, let's see, you know, like. These words do two things. First, they keep the conversation alive so you do not feel the pressure of silence. Second, they keep your brain in English mode so it does not switch back to your native language to translate. Let me tell you about Noah. Noah was good at reading English, but in conversations, he had long, quiet pauses. He was always translating the perfect answer in his head. His teacher told him to stop translating and use only 3 filler words. Well, let's see, and actually. The next time he was asked a question, instead of freezing to translate, he said, well, let's see, actually I think. This simple trick gave his brain 3 seconds to find the English words directly. He did not need to translate because the filler words kept his mind running in English. Take a breath with me. Pause for a second. Look around you. Are you translating my words right now in your head? No, you are not. You are just listening and understanding. Your brain already knows how to process English directly. You do not need to translate. Believe in your brain. Lesson 4. Talk to your shadow. The biggest reason you translate when talking to others is fear of judgment. When you are scared, your brain defaults to its safest habit, which is translating every word slowly to avoid mistakes. To break this habit, you must practice speaking out loud when you are completely alone. This is called shadow talk. You must normalize the sound of your own English voice in a safe environment. Every day, narrate your simple actions as you do them without thinking. When you make tea, say, I am making tea. The water is hot. I like tea. When you put on your shoes, say, I am putting on my shoes. They are black. I am ready. There is no pressure here. There is no one to judge you. Your brain slowly learns that it is safe to output English directly without checking every word twice. Let me tell you about David. David knew a lot of English grammar, but whenever he met native speakers, he completely froze. He was so terrified of making a translation mistake that he stayed quiet. One day, David decided to talk to himself every day while cooking dinner. 10 minutes every evening, talking out loud about what he was chopping, stirring, and eating. I am cutting onions. Now I cook the meat. The food smells good. He did not translate, he just spoke as he moved. After 1 month of this private practice, he spoke to a colleague at work. For the first time in his life, the words came out naturally, without any mental translation, because his brain was used to speaking without editing. Lesson 5. Choose expression over perfection. Perfectionism is the best friend of translation. When you demand perfect grammar from yourself, your mind is forced to translate and check every single rule before you open your mouth. You must accept this truth today. Broken English that comes out fast and clear is 100 times better than perfect English that takes 20 seconds of silence to produce. Communication is about connection, not an exam. When you make a mistake, do not stop. Do not translate to correct it. Keep moving forward. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. They do not care about your perfect grammar, they care about your message. Let me tell you about Maya. Maya spent years trying to speak perfect English. Every time she spoke, she paused to translate every verb tense correctly. Conversations felt painful for her and for the listener. One day, Maya made a decision. She decided to allow herself to make mistakes. She told herself, It is okay to use the wrong tense. It is okay to be simple. The next time she spoke, she did not wait to translate. She just said what was in her mind using simple, imperfect words. To her surprise, no one corrected her. Everyone listened, understood, and replied naturally. That day, Maya became a speaker instead of a translator. Lesson 6. Throw away bilingual word lists. How do you study vocabulary? Do you write an English word on the left and the translation in your native language on the right? If you do this, you are training your brain to translate. You are building a permanent bridge between the two languages. To stop translating, you must stop studying translations. Instead of learning single words with translations, learn words in simple English contexts or phrases. Instead of memorizing "run equals your translation," learn the phrase "run fast." Instead of memorizing "happy equals your translation," look at a picture of a smiling face and say "I feel happy." This cuts the connection to your mother tongue and builds a direct connection to the emotion or action. Let me tell you about Ryan. Ryan had notebooks filled with thousands of translated vocabulary words. He memorized them every day. But in conversations, he could never find the words quickly. He had to search through his mental translation dictionary. Ryan decided to burn his bilingual lists. He started reading very simple children's books in English. When he saw a new word, he did not look up the translation. He looked at the pictures in the book to understand the meaning. Soon, his brain began to store English words in a completely separate folder, away from his native language. He started using those words instantly in conversations without any mental search. Lesson 7. Stop translating what you hear. Thinking in English is a two-way street. You must stop translating when you speak, but you must also stop translating when you listen. When someone speaks to you in English, do you translate their words into your native language to understand them? If you do, you will always be too slow to reply. To train your brain to listen directly, listen to simple English audio every day. It must be so simple that you do not need to translate it to understand. As you listen, do not try to translate the sentences. Just let the sounds wash over you. Let your brain capture the overall meaning, not the individual words. Let me tell you about Anna. Anna used to translate every video she watched. She paused the video constantly to look up translations. It was exhausting, and she never improved. Then she started listening to very slow, simple English stories for 10 minutes a day. She forced herself not to pause and not to translate. She just listened to the flow of the voice. After 2 weeks, she realized she was understanding the stories without translating them into her language first. Her brain had learned to connect the English sounds directly to meanings. And because she listened without translating, she started speaking without translating too. Look how far you have come in this video. You have been listening to pure English without translation for many minutes now. You did not need your native language to understand culture code English today. That proves you are ready. Fluency is not about how many words you know. Fluency is about how fast your mouth can express what your brain feels without waiting for a translator inside your head. Start today. Pick one small habit from this video. Point at 3 things in your room right now and name them directly in English. Speak one 3-word sentence out loud today. If you are truly ready to stop translating and start speaking directly, leave a promise to yourself below. Type, "I will stop translating" in the comments right now. When you say it and write it down, you make a commitment to your future self. Keep listening, keep practicing, and I will see you in the next journey on Culture Code English.